Welcome to the Tantra and Yoga podcast. These podcasts are recorded live at Anatara Ashram with Artemis and Bhairav in the Nishka Nation of northern BC, Canada. For more information, you can visit anatara.org.
Before any creation, some of you have heard me speak about the ocean and the wave. So we could understand that, before the Big Bang, there was complete emptiness. Before you were in your mother's womb, there was emptiness. There was this infiniteness, almost, as well, that was there before form came. And so the first very subtle separation that we experience in our life before it's like, tall and short, and man and woman, and black and white, and on like this, is the simple and subtle creation of subject and object. The aham and the adam, the I am and the I am that, kind of we could say, or the thatness. And so for myself, again, this is not scholarly at all, but just my own contemplations, coming to the same question: what is attention? And attention for me is a tool that the subject has that connects it with object. And we could sharpen it, or we can pay no mind to it. And so if we pay no attention to attention, then it's going to have complete control over us. It takes us to the left, it takes it to the right, it says we need to go this way, it says we need to go that way, it says I can't make a decision, and we have no intention in it. And so we just let it roam all around and go everywhere, often feeling like not even recognizing that it's our tool as an I that we have. Does it make sense? So we think that it is in control, and often we'll even call it the mind. But in actuality, we start to see through practices such as yoga or meditation or prayer or anything such as this, even in school, we learn to focus our attention on what it is that we're studying in school. We start to find that we actually can make a choice here, in a sense, to choose where we place attention. And so speaking specifically about meditation, we start to choose to focus our attention on the mantra, on the silence, on the breath, on the heart, whatever that might be. And as we sharpen attention, in time, this is lovely, of course, to sharpen our attention, because we start to feel like we have more power in our life. We're not at the whim of the whims of the mind. Suddenly it's like, no, I'm going to focus here. And there's a great peace that can come in that, because it quiets the rest of the mind. The mind is like, okay, well, I don't need to travel everywhere. We'll just focus on this then. And then this, for me, is kind of where the real gift of attention starts to come. Because then from there, we can start to inquire into the source of attention. Where is the attention coming from? In the beginning, we're very interested in where the attention goes, in not even a spiritual sense, French fries, shopping, traveling, whatever it might be, getting a degree. I like this person, I want to kiss them, whatever it might be, that's, pulling us all over the place. And then in our more spiritual path, then we start to become interested in the mantra, we start to become interested in the breath. And we start to become interested in the peace that comes as a byproduct of focusing our attention. And then when we start to stabilize there with the power of our attention, then we start to inquire, well, where does attention come from? What is the source of attention? And in a similar way that you're probably asking, well, what is this even? And for me, the attention is this connection between subject and object. And when we first follow it back and we discover, okay, there's a subject here. There's a perceiver here. There's a witness here. Whatever word feels good for us to put on the one that's able to say, my attention's out, or now maybe turning it back and saying, I'm turning my attention towards myself. But if we go far enough into that, we never actually find a subject. We never actually find a perceiver, a witness. There's no place that we can land and say that this is the place that attention comes from. And in the disappearance of the belief that there is even an I, then even the attention kind of goes back into its source in a sense, and then we're left with this space, like between subject and object, the beingness that exists between perceiver and perceived, or sometimes even we could say the knowingness, just the pure knowing that there is existence between knower and known. And that happens in the dissolving, I feel, of attention, which happens when we suddenly have nowhere to place it.
This active attention, though, is a very important stage, especially if we don't do that yoga practice before. We have to put serious attention into our sitting practice, because attention is this part of ourselves that wishes to come back again and again to to the place in which we're focusing the mind. It's like we have concentration, so focusing on whatever it is, maybe it's the heart, or maybe it's the third eye, or it's a candle flame, or why not on mantra. But then the attention is kind of what brings us back again and again to it. So a way that I think that some of the meditative practices have gone around this is through the act of bhakti, or through the act of love. So love, naturally, this feeling of love that we have for the divine, for the mantra, for whatever it is we're meditating on, for Krishna, if that's our object of meditation, for Jesus, if that's the object of meditation, or for whatever, that this act of love brings our attention back again and again. And it's sometimes even really less of a concentration practice, like one-pointedness on an object, but rather actually attention. And especially in our modern age, at least, we don't really know anything other than our modern age, except maybe from what we've read or whatever, but I feel anyway that our attention spans are less and less with computers, with television, with everything else, like Instagram. You get into this Instagram thing of scrolling, and the attention is, I don't know, 3 seconds or something whenever we're in that. Reading books, which it was a pastime of our ancestors and relatives for a long time. Even that's for some people it works, but for a lot of people, even reading is kind of difficult because their attention span, it's hard to stay focused, even on reading. But as well, we all have different ways of learning, some through more visual. So I consider that attention is really, really important in a path of meditation. But it actually, if we've gone through our practice of yoga, if we do a practice of yoga beforehand, we do our pranayama. Oh yes, and I forgot to mention in that pranayama comes after asana. So in the 8 stages of yoga, So if we've gone through an asana practice which is helping us to calm down, we've gone through some pranayama, then naturally we want to go into the stage of pratyahara and all the rest.